gay pride on the streets of Durban. South Africa has gone further than any other country in the world by enshrining gay rights in its constitution. But this legal protection doesn't always guarantee that people enjoy these rights in practice. In 13 other African countries, homosexuality is also permitted by law. But in the remaining 38 African nations, being gay is a crime. In 3, it is punishable by the death penalty. Nowhere is the debate more polarized than here in Uganda.
The gay and lesbian human rights industry, which continues to proliferate Euro-American constructs of identity, not to mention the notion of a sexual identity itself. We can be reminded that even the idea of a sexual identity is part of, a la Joseph Massad's work, part of the ways in which colonial administration, and Foucault's work, part of the ways in which colonial administration functioned, right?
Sylvia Tamale has conducted research into the history of same-sex relationships in Africa. She rejects the view that homosexuality is un-African.
Gay people have always lived among communities. Everyone, in the village would know that so-and-so, sleeps with another man, but they were not vilified. They were not praised, but they were not vilified. That's my point. So all these anti-gay sentiments came from outside.
So we've set the scene there. David Bahati. Like it or not, homosexuality is there in Africa. You cannot say it is un-African, can you?
It's un-African because it is inconsistent with African values of procreation, of a belief in a continuity of family and clan.
You're
disappointed in him telling people that homosexuality is un-African, and he links it to Christianity and all these things. Yet you know very well, Bahati, even in all the history, I'm sure the history you've studied is what I've studied. In pre-colonial Africa, we were never told about homophobia in Africa. You know very well that it all started with the Christians coming and demonizing it. Permapera, you know how we call them in our language, those missionaries. You also know that the penal code on which you're basing everything that you're doing against homosexuals was brought by the British when they colonized our nation.
All right, okay.
So I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I can't help but wonder if this obsession that's arisen lately with whipping people up into frenzies over ideological lines of sexual orientation in this continent is really a way of distracting us from the bigger issues that we're fighting, like, food insecurity, the state of our health systems, the plundering of our natural resources. Diversity will always be with us, but intolerance and hatred, that is a choice. So if we can agree that love is the fundamental basis of Christianity, if we can agree that Ubuntu or Muntu is the fundamental basis of being an African, it's togetherness, it's solidarity, if we can agree that God, however you define him or her, respects free will of all human beings, then why can't we just choose love and tolerance so we can move forward and talk about the things that really matter?